an external bank that I don't normally bank with. So I went to my bank that I traditionally bank with, had obviously a credit history with them for like 4 years or so that I'd been sort of transacting with in Australia. Went to them, saw a poster on the wall for a credit card, and I was like, right, okay, well, how am I going to get this money for this business? I'd already had the previous discussion a few weeks prior to this with Specsavers, and they sort of said to me, if you can find the $5,000 that we need as an initial deposit to buy this business, we'll obviously fund the rest of it. So the initial purchase of that business was $20,000. They was going to fund $15,000 via a director's loan, and the other $5,000 I had to find from somewhere. My other partner that I was coming on board with, he already had the money in place, so because he was coming from an existing Specsavers in the UK, but I didn't have that luxury, so I had no money at the time. So I went to the bank, went through the standard process of asking for a credit card. Like, they asked me all these questions. At no point in that interview did they actually ask me if I was a citizen, so I didn't tell them. They granted me the credit card. The following day, I received the money, received the credit card in my account, basically got the money, transferred it over to Specsavers. Day after that, I had my business.
I think it's great that they only checked about serviceability. They clearly knew that you could pay them back. So
Exactly.
I feel like the citizen part probably doesn't really matter. We're all citizens of a global world.
Other people's money is the greatest invention. Yeah.
I think so. I think so. So I'm glad you was able to return the funds back within a month. You mentioned.
Yeah, within a month.
Yeah.
Yeah. So literally just paid the money back, done, easy.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What was there a pivotal moment in your optical retail business where you implemented a strategy that led to significant positive change?
I would say probably just employing more people, to be honest. Like that was a significant shift that we had within the business, where it was sort of like, for the first 3 years that we was in that business, myself and my partner, we was working 7 days a week. And it was literally us two and 3 other team members, and that was it. And it was tough. Like, it was very, very tough. Like, we literally worked late nights, weekends, everything that we could. My business partner's boys was born, and the following day he was back at work. Like, so he had twins, and like literally he was in hospital. We both went to the hospital for the birth, everything like that. Following day, back at work at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was a lot of commitment to that business early on, and we sort of saw that, and we was like, we can't like basically sustain this. This is not a sustainable model. We need to find other ways to do it. And literally, we just sort of said, look, we're gonna have to bite the bullet back, employ more people. We employed sort of like a core team of another 5 people, and within probably, I would say, in the space of about 6 to 12 months of obviously developing those team members for the right level of training, our business grew exponentially. Like it grew massively. So our average month, we'd be looking at sort of around about 200k. Once we sort of brought them people in, we was looking at sort of 250 to 300k a month.
Of salaries you had to...
Top line sales was like sort of $300,000 from 200 as an average. So so it grew massively. Yeah.
What do you have to pay a top salesperson?
Obviously we give them their normal industry wage, and then we incentivize them on top of that. So it really depends on the person to person. Some people, top performers, earn a lot of money. People that don't really want to sort of work and just want to come in and just do their work and just show up, they get paid what they're worth. And I believe that in general in life, you get paid what you're worth. So if you work harder, and I'm not saying kill yourself and work 7 days a week like I did, but work harder and work smarter with it, you'll get rewarded.
But yes, so you reward, incentivize
them, obviously, which is because we're not in hard sales as such. It's not like we're selling double glazing windows or anything like that. We're selling glasses. It's not like it's a hard sell. People need them. We give them sales in general is literally, it's just a process where it's literally, someone's got a problem, you've got a solution. Okay, what's your problem? Right, okay, I can't see across the road. Right, okay, I've got a solution for that. There you go, there's a pair of glasses. Do you want it or not? It's not that difficult, and it's not hard selling.
But you can recruit as business owner, right?
Yeah,
You don't
we can
have to
recruit
listen to
people.
Like, it's
No,
not
no,
like
so-
send you staff.
No, so they don't send us staff. They can recruit people for us if we want them to, but generally I don't normally do that myself. Like personally, my belief is that I don't like to recruit people from other businesses, as in other optical businesses. I would rather recruit someone that's outside of the business, never had any experience, and then I can like sort of mold them into the way that I want them to work. And generally, even with the team that we have, when we are recruiting people, my recruitment process is literally the team decide who comes on board, not me.
Yeah.
So what I mean by that is I will do the initial interview, obviously, and then I'll have my manager, she'll also perform like an interview with them as well. If they sort of get to that point and they seem like they're going to gel well with the dynamic of the team, then I'll then sort of bring them in for a trial day. And then at the end of that day, I'll get feedback from each individual team member, and I'll be like, right, okay, was this person suitable? Do you think they'll work? Yes or no? Right, okay, yes, why? No, why? And it's pretty much that simple. And I don't make the final decision, they do, because I don't want to force people into the team, and it disrupts the dynamics. And that happens in every workforce. You'll get a manager that's at the top, and they'll make the decision and force someone into a team, and it's not always the right decision for the team.
It's probably the right fit.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned about dynamic and team morale and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely want to find someone that wants to be there, that enjoy the work,
Definitely.
and that collaborate well with the remaining team members.
Yeah.
Now, on a good day or month, you mentioned you could make anywhere between about $10,000 to about $16,000.
Yeah.
On a not so
From profit.
lucrative
Yeah.
from profit, right?
Yeah.
If it's a seasonal downturn, what are some of the figures we're looking at? So what is a moment that is slightly lower than what you normally see, and
Like
how do you combat that? Like when it goes low, you mentioned that at the beginning you had to lend money from the bank
Yeah.
to kickstart the business. So when it does go low, how do you deal with it? And do you sit tight and then wait for another few months, or do you instantly react to it? Are you reactive? Are you one of these reactive?
I don't think you can be reactive. Like, I mean, I feel like you've sort of got to be proactive with stuff like that. You can't be a reactive person and deal with it as it comes. You've got to sort of prepare for that. And it's sort of like make hay while the sun shines sort of thing. Like, literally, we will have really, really good months, and then we'll have terrible months. Like, and it's part of business. You have peaks and troughs. So you've just got to take it. And some months, yes, we might not make as much. So yeah, maybe we're not sort of obviously making $10,000-$15,000 a month. Maybe we're only making $1,000, but it's just one of them. It's just one of them things. It's part of business, and obviously you'd like to think moving forward that obviously you're going to have more good months than you are bad months, because otherwise, what's the point in opening a business? If you can't be optimistic about that, then you've got to sort of assume that that's the way the economy rolls. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down.
Do you think there's triggering points that you look for, moments that, okay, there's a downturn? And you mentioned it's a really good point, which is be proactive. Do you go in there and look at the financial statements and go, okay, we need to do something
so
better
we sort of know, we know when our down months are going to be. So we have like sort of generally about 3 points in a year that we know that it's going to be quieter. So historically it's always quiet, so the data shows us that. So normally the first one within the sort of tax year would be probably around about July, which is like it just is for us. It's sort of generally a quieter time. September, and then March.
Are the quieter moments?
Generally, they're the quietest months that we have normally. Yeah. So what we generally do in those points, like a bit of an insider tip: come in and get your glasses then, because there'll generally be a sale on.
Can you renegotiate terms with Specsavers?
No.
So okay.
No, it's take it or leave it, pretty much. Yeah. So you have like a heads of terms that's normally about 200 pages long, and their sort of view on that is literally, there's your heads of terms. You can take this to legal advice, and they can give you whatever advice you want, but you are not changing any of those terms within that contract. The contract is airtight for both parties, obviously, but yeah, there's no way that you can change those terms.
Do you get requests by head office to go and train fellow?
I did. Like, obviously, when that was my first job, when I first started in the business, like when I first moved to Australia. But prior to that, no, I don't do that. I don't do that anymore. Sorry, should I say? Yeah, it's not something that's really in my remit anymore.
Yeah. Some cool, interesting background information about you. Your daughter, super cute. When you show me the photo. Now you mentioned you've set up a trust for your wife and daughter.
Yep.
How do you reinvest the gains from your optometry business to the family trust?
So generally how my sort of structure works is pretty much I own the business itself through a family trust, and it also has a corporate trustee attached to that as well, which is normally the standard entity that you have, and it's just a discretionary trust. So literally, like, the money that gets filtered into that trust, it can get filtered out to whoever you want, and at tax time you decide where that money is sort of allocated to. Normally the way it works with my structure, or the way that I've sort of set it up anyway, is literally like sort of a 50 10 20